Okay, good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Atchison County Commission meeting for Monday, August 12th. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We are meeting on a Monday today because of the canvass for the primary election. We have invocation. Father John Hollinger was supposed to join us. He's not here yet. So if you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public comment. It's being done. Approval of the minutes. Did everyone have an opportunity to read the minutes from Tuesday, July 30th, 2024? If so, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I haven't read them yet.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I don't know if we want to.
We have time. So
okay.
If you want to read them, and then when you guys are ready, if somebody wants to make a motion.
I would move to approve the minutes.
No, you're good.
Partway through when I started, right? I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Passes 3-0. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Rivas?
I'm just saying I was out at the fair for a little bit, and I think you guys were there more than I was, but it was really nice. The weather, you can be the weather this year is fantastic. So, and it was fun to see the 4-H and all the displays. Yeah, I'll have to echo that. The fair seemed to really have the best weather I've ever can remember, and they took advantage of it, and it was a very big deal for Effingham and the community and all of the kids. So congratulate the fair board on a well-planned event.
I also wanted to echo that. I think the Atchison County Fair Board, the Extension, the 4-H clubs, Livestock Association, everybody collaborated. I heard so many positives about the collaboration, and just it was a great year. The weather helped, and everybody after the parade, all the food stands, the food trucks, everybody was packed. It was great to see. So. And then also, I just wanted to say congratulations to Megan Doman. She got her RN, our Atchison County Health.
Oh, I hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah, so yeah, she got her RN.
Very good.
Yep. So congratulations to her. And then I just had one thing I wanted to make sure. Alan had gotten off of EDAG, so Economic Development at the city, and I would love to join those meetings if you would be okay with that. They're Thursday the 14th.
Just the once a month.
Yeah.
They were non-voting. It's just
Oh.
Yeah, I'm okay
Are you
with it.
okay with that?
Because you were on there before.
I was on there before, and then you got it the first of the year, and so
Yeah,
if you're okay with that, I just had a question mark to make sure.
it'd be at 4 o'clock usually.
Okay, or I mean, are you getting off because you're going to be
Yeah, because I'm leaving.
right? But we don't know who. Oh, you just want to
To
take
the
over for this?
remaining of the year.
Okay,
And then we'll do it in our organizational meeting. It'll be one of them that we appoint.
but you're going to be here till
Yeah, until
right.
end of December. The thing is, with EDAG, the topics, they kind of overlap and it's continual, kind of like learning curve of staying on top of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I thought if someone goes in and on there, she was on there before, so I thought that might make sense to
Unless you want
have
to
continuity.
do it.
No,
Yeah.
I was just wondering, you know, if he was leaving now, I could see having someone fill in, but I was just gonna, because I thought, well, we'll do it when we do the regular at the.
And I looked at my travel schedules and things, and I'm gonna miss this one and one next month. So I know I was gonna miss two, maybe three of
Okay.
them. So I thought,
That,
why not?
that explains what,
Yeah,
you know, I was
that
just
takes that
wondering,
off, yeah.
what's the hurry? So, no.
Yeah.
So you're good with that?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll RCP that I can make it on that. So that's the last comment I have. New business. We have Michelle Phillips, the county clerk and election official, for the canvass of votes for the primary election.
Get as organized as I possibly could. So I gave out all of the information for you guys. I have quite a few different categories. We had 2,705 voters, which was a 23.7% turnout, which is pretty good considering what was on the ballots. One ballot was overly full, the other one was not. So 219 advanced ballots that were mailed out or emailed to the UOCAVA, which is the overseas military and civilians. We received 153 of those back, 4 of them being UOCAVA. 391 early voting in the office. And then with what we had election day at the polling locations, grand total of 2,705. I do have 21 provisional ballots. But before I get to that, I would like to make a couple comments in regards to the election. There was an affidavit of write-in candidacy for Democratic votes for the sheriff from Adam Potts. As a result of the primary election, no person shall receive the nomination, and no person's name, I can't even talk today, shall be printed on the official general election ballot when no nomination petitions or declarations were filed, unless the person receives votes equal in number to not less than 5% of the total of the current voter registration designated in the county in which the office is sought. So he needed 5% of the total registered voters, which would have been 586, and he received 120. So that's not going to move forward. We did have some township candidates that will move forward to the general. I had to call one of them because we had one person who won by write-in, both the trustee and the treasurer position. So I had to call them and let them know that really can't be on the ballot twice, but he'd be able to give me 10 days, 10 days. He needs to let me know what position he wants. He is currently serving as the treasurer. So I don't know what he's going to choose to be interesting.
So he could stay where he's at or go to the other, either.
Right.
Or.
However, with him being top vote getter, the second highest they don't get a chance. It just is he won. So he goes on. If he declines it, it goes empty. So therefore there's going to be write-in spaces. So somebody else could win by write-in. They have to have 3 write-in votes. So hopefully that will happen and you guys don't have a vacancy to fill.
Township.
Capioma Township.
So he'll choose based on the primary results. And then in November, the one he doesn't choose will be on there for write-ins again.
With it being a general, they'll all be write-in. There'll be a write-in blank for everything. with it being a general. But we would need, he would be in one of the offices. The other office would just have a vacancy line. So.
But if he chooses to forego his current position and moves, then will there be?
Will we have to appoint?
We'll have to appoint for that one then.
If nobody wins by write-in.
Will that?
No, that you're correct, because that would be vacant.
It would be a vacated one. It wouldn't be up for election because it's on the opposite. It's the odd 2 years or 4 years.
We didn't.
Oh, yes. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
We didn't discuss this part. There's an attorney general opinion that says that a person can be on the ballot for more than one position. So I think he could be, he just couldn't serve both of them if he was elected to both.
Yeah.
He's a reasonable guy, so I don't think he's going to want to do that, but he'll pick whichever one he wants to be on. But the AG's opinion says he can be on for 2 different positions, but they're incompatible offices, so you couldn't hold both positions.
You are right. I was sorry, I wasn't following. So.
And there will be, just to follow up on, you said everyone will have write-ins in the general, except the county offices and the first class cities, right? Like
there'll be a write-in space. However, we do not have to count them. Okay. And I don't know if I wrote down statute KSA 25-213D. Nope, that's not the right statute, but it's in 213. There's an affidavit of write-in candidacy. So if anybody wants to receive write-in ballots, they have to alert or let us know by filing that affidavit 4 Mondays prior to the election.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's going to change.
If it's a county position, we don't have to write Mickey Mouse in. As you can see on some of
Mickey Mouse,
we have to in the trustees or the township trustee and treasurer position, as well as the precinct committee people. And as you can see, we had quite a list of those in there.
So although the affidavit wasn't fulfilled in the primary, you can fill out another affidavit prior to.
From what I'm understanding, yes.
Okay. And then voters can alter their party?
With the general election, it's not. Everybody votes the same ballot.
Okay. Interesting.
So that doesn't affect township votes on the counting of the write-ins.
We still have to do all the write-ins for precinct people and the township.
So the townships wouldn't need to have the affidavit to accept the votes, but just county offices up. Okay.
And first class cities. So our school districts, it's not gonna matter. We're still gonna have to count everybody, and the cities of the second and third class that we have. So this is something new.
Yeah.
So I kind of get myself confused on it as well. So
that's a lot.
Yes.
And that affidavit thing was new to me. So,
and I don't know what brought that on. Probably just because we have so many names that probably shouldn't be voted upon.
That's interesting. I have a question for you on these write-ins. So looking at the Democrat unofficial results, and I see about half Republicans written in. So if you're going to write somebody into be that party,
you would think.
Okay,
yes.
I'm just curious.
Well, but the Democrats don't have to have a Democrat as their person that they choose.
Okay, these are for committee momentum.
Yeah, I don't.
That's some people didn't know what their party were. Okay. Right, they didn't write their name, and somebody else did.
Right.
Oh boy. Okay.
So I have 21 total ballots that were questioned or challenged. So they were written up as provisional. So I pretty much am going to go down the list here that I have. So we'll vote. I don't know if you guys want to just individually, how is the best?
Well, I was going to ask if we could just summarize them all and have one motion. It'd be great. Is that?
Well, and I I've given everybody kind of like a summary here. The second page, it kind of tells you how many ballots there are. The description of what I felt was the best reasoning, the statute that I felt best fits, and as far as the counting or yes or no. And Mr. Henderson, if you feel that you question anything, please let me know.
No, I've reviewed them.
Okay.
So I think we're good. I think we're agreed on them.
Okay. So the first batch I have 3 ballots with party affiliation showing incorrect. Basically on these, I have printed the actual registration that was given to us online. They were given to us July 15th and 16th, which is the day before the cutoff and the cutoff day, which is July 16th. So these were given to us, but apparently they were not worked as far as the party affiliation. So with that being like a technical error on our part, we did find evidence that they did have their party changed. So I would recommend that these 3 count. So I'm just going to keep moving then.
Mhm.
Okay. I have 2 of them with party affiliation showing incorrect. And the reason I put these 2 separate is both registrants were registered as unaffiliated. I could find no documents in the Elvis system that changed them to Democrat. They were listed in the Elvis system as Democrat. They should not have been. They would have went from unaffiliated to Republican, but I could find no information as to why they were changed to Democrat. So I felt that is a clerical or technical error. So my recommendation is to count those as well. I had one that the note was written that the judges and the clerks, election workers, basically thought that the person, it's known that he had moved. His driver's license still is addressed to the Atchison County location where he's registered at. So we are not police. We take the information as we get it from the voter. The voter basically purges himself if they give us something that's not true. So because of the fact that rules for determining the residence of the voter, it's the place adopted by a person as such person's place of habitation, and to which whenever a person is absent, such person has the intention of returning. This person gave our address, Atchison County address, as his residence. So I don't think it's up to us to question that. So my recommendation is to count this one. I have, the next one is 1. I have a registered voter who requested an advance ballot, did not receive it, and voted at the polls. Their ballot came back in the white envelope, which is basically did not get delivered. So they did vote at the polling locations. So that would be, they only voted once. So my recommendation would be to count that. The next one is a registered voter has a different name than what is in the poll book. And this is due to marriage. So KSA 25-2316C subsection A basically is the registration when a registered voter changes name by marriage, divorce, or legal proceedings. So the recommendation is to count this one as well. I have 2 ballots where the voters moved within the county, but in their movings, they actually went to the correct polling location and voted the correct ballot. So the updates will be done due to the registrations that were filled out. So my recommendation on these 2 would be to go ahead and count them since they did vote the correct precinct. I have, the next one is a UACAVA that I received prior to deadline. So I recommend this one to count as well. UACAVA basically is, a lot of them are done by email. So when they send back their email, they are requesting or basically voluntarily waiving their right to a secret ballot. So, but that one I would request to count as well. The next one I have is an advanced voting ballot that was delivered after election, but it was postmarked the day of election. So we received them Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the 3 days. So statute 25-1132 states that the deadline for the receipt by mail of the advanced voting ballots by the Office of the County Election Officer shall be the last delivery of mail by the United States Postal Service on the 3rd day following the date of election.
You only had one of those.
You
only had one?
Yes.
I'm surprised.
Yes. A lot of times they don't get postmarked. So this one I was very, very glad to see the postmark on it. But yes, we only received one. I have one where the street file is incorrect. The address, DMV actually registered this person. They had another city, an outside city, as their city of residence. DMV sent it to Jackson County. And Jackson County registered it, didn't. I looked on the map and found that this is actually an address in Arrington. So this voter should actually be in Atchison County. So they were originally registered in Jackson County. They were originally registered as unaffiliated and they declared Republican. So this to me is just, it's similar to when you affiliate. You affiliate, you fill out the voter registration card, you put your ballot in the machine. So this to me would be very similar to that, other than the fact that we didn't have him in the right place to begin with. So my recommendation would be to count this one as well.
This says partial count. How does that work?
It says voted on the ballot.
Partial count.
It's the wrong
Voted on the ballot.
partial county only. Oh, that would be like maybe.
Oh, yes,
county,
yes. Everything except for precinct and township on this one. He was actually given a grasshopper ballot, and he should have been given a Capioma ballot.
Okay.
So yes, you're right. Thank you. Partially count, no precinct committee people or township, because township would be different. But counting everything else, the federal, state, and county, they would all be identical. So that one's going to be a partial. I have 4 who moved within the county and they voted the wrong ballot. They went to the wrong precinct and voted the wrong ballot. A lot of times if it's close to 7, we don't make them go to their correct polling location because we want them to be able to vote. So a lot of times they will go ahead and vote them as provisional. So I have 4 of them that moved from Atchison County to Atchison County. They just went to the wrong precinct. And so these I recommend partial count.
Okay. So 17 total for the count. Okay. So I would look for a motion to approve the 17 voters, 17 votes as presented by our county clerk. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. It will count.
I do have 4 more. Similar to the last one, voters moved within the county. This voter actually moved from outside the county. The statutes basically address those moving from within the county as being registered, not having to re-register. Whereas this one, since he was from out of county, he comes to Atchison County as an unregistered person. So they did not re-register prior to the election. So that's basically what we got from them was the registration. So this one would be a no, since they moved from outside of county. So I have a no vote on that. And then I have 2 advanced voters that were unsigned. We called and left a message twice on both of them. I had a good number on one of them. The other one, I had a number that was on an older document. Tried calling that number and it just rang and never received an answer. So but we did try to reach out to them. So unfortunately, with there being no signature, that would be a no vote or recommended to not count. And this one here, he just wasn't registered. And I believe they knew that because I talked to the election worker. They wanted to make sure they did this correctly. So it was. So he was just not registered. So they do have the registration form now filled out. And unfortunately, since he wasn't registered prior to the election, my recommendation would be not to count that.
So I have 4. Okay. So I'd look for a motion to not count the 4 votes as presented by our county clerk. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0.
So at some time, I would like to take these up. The office girls are going to go ahead and get these in. But if I
think you
run up there real quick and then I'll be right back down.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. I have Scott, and then do you have the letters of interest?
Yes,
Perfect.
I have one.
Okay, thank you. So that'll be next. All right. So it 10:30, Scott Howard, our IT director, for our RFP discussion and or approval of proposal.
All right. So they got us an updated proposal. It did drop the cost a little bit. Unfortunately, the recurring yearly cost is still pretty steep at $2,000 a month. So we're looking to ways to reduce the amount of licenses. The only way that I can really think to do that is to basically limit the encryption module to just the county attorney's office and then slowly grow it out from there. But as it stands right now, I don't have the budget for the yearly reoccurring, nor does the county attorneys. So
Ask a question. What is the commitment on that? Is it, I mean, because it's split out monthly. So if we planned to get our cleanup projects done this year, can we just do the monthly for this year? And since we didn't budget for it, then reassess for 2025? Or do they lock you into like?
This would be a Tim question. But I think what it's going to end up being, so these are yearly licenses paid monthly.
Okay.
So it's kind of like.
So it would lock you up for an annual agreement. Okay. I was just thinking.
I think under Kansas cash basis law, if you can't bind next year's budget, so the next commission could change that.
Okay.
And we generally like to put that language in contracts so that it doesn't come as a surprise to anybody that under Kansas cash basis law, it would only be bound for the current fiscal year.
So just the 4 months if we did September,
October. You did it now, yeah.
And I spoke with the county attorney. She's fine with holding off on this until we get a better plan for budgeting for something like this. We didn't expect it to be this expensive year by year or month by month. So she's fine with holding off and looking at next year and getting this prepared for next year's budget meeting for 2026. She does want me to keep on looking for solutions like this for her for next year. If we can do it, if there's somehow or some way that we can do it, she would like to.
Okay. So my only thing is, with the ARPA money and with it being a one-time project, I'm more in favor of, if you feel if there's consensus that it's a need and a priority, that we just do it with the 4 months left of this year. And then, as Pat said, it doesn't bind us beyond that, because I'm going to have a hard time budgeting that kind of dollar figure. And ARPA is to get us reset one time, and that would be cleaned up and not have to talk about it again for budgets, because adding 60-some thousand bucks for a budget item, like I don't.
Well, the first three projects, since we don't have any projects next year, these are all the first 3 are things that internal IT can do without much problem. It just takes a lot of time, and since we don't have those projects now, I'd feel comfortable taking them on.
Okay.
Okay, so these projects you're talking about are all just time and labor and
the first 3 are.
The first 3, okay.
Hardware, software.
So
right.
1, 2, 3, and then the last 2
are the data security, or or it's the sensitive data evaluation and the data security solution. Those two require software components that have reoccurring monthly costs or yearly costs to them that was not budgeted. So
Okay. So then we're basically looking at basically 20 grand of projects and then a recurring cost.
mhm.
Yeah, that's the 925. The recurring cost on that.
Well,
We have to.
so Project 5, I believe, really does encompass most, if not all, of the licensing and managed service fees. There is a software component to 4, but I think it might be the auditing part,
Okay,
or if there's a separate software that they use to actually scan, and then they continue to scan to make sure that no sensitive data gets put in
Okay.
into unapproved spots.
20 grand sounds a whole lot better.
Yeah, and a better, easier conversation for future.
And on a monthly recurring summary, I mean, we're already paying some licensing and some software licensing. I know there already is any that's duplicating that.
This would all be on top of.
Okay.
And there is some like Tim did say that we might be able to work on the monthly service cost of the managed service. That's essentially like I think it's sent in that email. It's an audit.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're gonna maintain the server that exists for this auditing and encryption product. And then if there's any like access, or if there's anybody that accesses a file that's not supposed to, or something improper is done, they get an alert, or they run a report and they see that, and then they contact who needs to be alerted. So like either the department head or you guys or me or something like that.
So if that happens, then what's the next step? Is there a report written or meet with the employee or?
There'd be some sort of an investigation. There's no,
Right.
I mean, it's in our county policy that if you're accessing files that you're not supposed to have access to, then there's going to be some sort of either a reprimand or termination, depending on what it is.
Is there anything like that that could be really an honest accident? Or is
I mean,
it's pretty intentional. I mean,
yeah, I mean, if
the safeguards in place.
we would investigate the report and see what facts there are. Like, oh, I accidentally just double clicked on something. They shouldn't be able to get to it in the first place, but
Right. That's
And that's what project 4 and 5 were doing, is making sure they can't get to it in the first place.
mhm. Well, that'd really be like project 3 is I think that's the permissions one, file permissions.
Yeah.
That kind of tells me that's what prevents somebody from accidentally going into a folder they're not supposed to.
okay. So
Project 4 essentially is like it's going to go out and scan for social security numbers, credit cards, names, addresses, anything like that, and it's going to give you a report of, hey, this information exists here. Should this be here anymore? Or should this be in an encrypted file? Should this be deleted? Should this be removed? And that would kind of then roll back into the number 3, where we would make sure that stuff is in a spot that it can only be accessed by the roles that need access to it.
So do you feel like you would want project 4 and 5 completed in your role? I guess they'll, with the ARPA dollars we have in the one-time project, I'm more likely to go with that versus talking through in the future of budgetary.
I mean, I'm at this point, I'm not recommending that we go ahead with it because
Okay.
of those licensing fees, because I don't feel comfortable budgeting for something that we don't have money for right now, or in my budget for.
Okay. Okay. You have questions? It looks, I think your brain's probably where mine's
yeah.
at.
So if we do 4 and 5, we have to do the licensing fees.
Mhm.
Okay.
But going back, if we do 4 and 5, we do the licensing fee for until the project's done, and then
But are we stopping short of where we need to be? I mean, really, if we're gonna do all this, should we be doing 4 and 5 to really have?
I mean, I would
Truly.
like to do 4 and 5, but I just if there's going to be $2,400 or $2,000 worth of reoccurring monthly costs, I don't know where that money's coming from. I mean, yes, we'll be going 4 years, but as far as I know, these licensings are set for a year. I don't know that you can go month by month.
Yeah, there's something about, I don't like the look of starting it and then backing out using the cash basis law. I mean, I think that's there to protect you, but I don't know if that's something that we should use as a technique or a tactic to like back out of that if we.
well, I wasn't thinking backing out, but more of that conversation of like, okay, we now know our scope and what we're able to do in-house, and we're able to do 1 through 3 in-house.
Mhm.
So all we need you for is 4 and 5. We'll pay the monthly fee until 4 and 5 are complete, and then the monthly fee is no longer, right? Because that would be
No, that's an ongoing.
ongoing.
That's perpetual.
So
But
here's the thing, to me, it's like, if you do the first 3 projects and then do 4 and 5, and now we're in really good shape, and they say, well, we don't want to pay for the insurance. I just built a brand new house, I'm not going to insure it. I mean, it's almost to me like you need to have that
Well,
monitoring.
yes and no. I mean, yes, it's nice to be able to be like, we had a breach of some sort. What did they access? That's what the auditing software would do. And then the encryption just means that whoever did access that information couldn't actually access it. The first 3 are just more or less cleaning up what we have currently. It could be done better. Now, having that 4 and 5, they would be nice to have. They're not essential. Just all.
Okay. So we do the first 3, and so a year from now, you say, you know, we might look at some options for this for the next year.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
So I think, yeah, my 2026 projects, I would bring up 4 and 5 again.
Okay, that makes sense.
That way we're prepared. We have
it's going to take
an
a while to
idea.
get the first redone.
Right.
I mean,
So was this, we talked about going out with an RFP, but we haven't.
Right.
Correct.
This is me.
So, but if we went out to another company, maybe would potentially do it cheaper.
We did an RFP.
Hmm?
We did an RFP.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Okay, this is the RFP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This
couldn't
was-
remember if that was.
Because we only had one come in. The other
that was the only
contractor.
one. That's
Yeah.
right. All right. Sorry. I'm just kind of.
So yeah, I suppose it's possible. It unlikely with at least the monthly costs. Those are kind of probably fixed, but
Okay, so recommendation is hold off.
Mhm.
All right.
and I'll continue to work with them if they come up with something that I think would work well for us or not cost us so much monthly. I'll come back to you guys and let you know that
Okay.
hey, I like this now. Go ahead.
what do you think your time frame is doing 1, 2, and 3? Is it like 7 or 8 months?
I'd say about 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months.
You want to move slow with some, especially with project 3. You want to make sure that you don't lock your departments out of their files. I think they would.
Would you find that out pretty quickly, you think?
I think so. I think they would get pretty irate with me with not being able to do their job. So, all right.
Okay, awesome.
Anything else from you guys?
Yeah,
No.
thank you.
Thank you.
Got one thing.
Yep.
Not a few, but I've got a big warning on my. I think it's mail R&R notices this week. So just the reminder that we kind of set. I just read it. It's like I want to make sure that we got that. So.
I did have a question actually that I didn't file this. The Trend Micro, how they catch your emails that could be dangerous. So I had one caught from support at atcoks.org.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said, I'm not authorized to manage that message.
So that was an email probably sent from the outside coming in as a spoofed email. So
Okay.
they were just like, oh, not even gonna.
So I can delete that.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it didn't come from like you guys or something. Cause I was like, I had never heard of support at Atchison County, but It was our domain, so I was like, ooh, I should ask you first on that one. So,
They're trying harder and harder to get that stuff through, so.
okay, thank you. Okay, so did you have some, did you just,
Yeah, that
You're
was the only
right.
thing. I just wanted to make sure that I got that in.
okay. So next I have First Judicial District Selection Board letters of interest. We do have one letter of interest that is dated July 29th to the Atchison County Commissioners. Dear Commissioners, please consider this my letter of interest to be a lay member of the First District Judicial Nominating Committee. I was an official court reporter for the First District for nearly 45 years, and during that time, I worked closely with no less than 8 district judges, countless attorneys, and even some litigants. I believe my experience will lend to the committee a unique insight. If selected, I will do my utmost to ensure the future competence, honesty, and integrity of the First District's judiciary. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Bradley R. Scherfus. So I would look for a motion to appoint Bradley R. Scherfus to the First District Judicial Nominating.
I'll make that motion.
Second that motion.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0.
It'll be excellent on there. Yeah, very good choice.
I also let them know. Thank you.
Okay, you bet. Thank you. So we have about 20 minutes until Joe Snyder will be here. Here's some. Okay, well, we can review these things and.
I'll give it to you. Bad thing I need. I was born. Oh, that's good. There you go.
Why are there so many bills?
Because we didn't have a meeting yesterday or last week. So sorry, last week. So this is 2 weeks worth.
Okay, so
With all stack in it.
Yeah.
there is a letter that we received from the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. A response to Kansas Public Notice number KS-Q-22-160, Kansas permit number I-M001-P018, Gary Service BFR Corey. Dear Commissioners, enclosed is the public notice regarding a proposed Kansas water pollution control permit for the referenced facility in your county. In accordance with KAR 28-1661, this notice provides interested parties an opportunity to comment on or object to the issuance of the permit as being public noticed. Specific information concerning comments and objections is found at the end of the public notice. I think any actions do, it's just informational.
It's that, it's all about.
I don't know. Sounds like something that the quarry has to file and they're just letting us know.
Thing or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
We do get them quite often. A lot of times it's from like out of Muskota around the Delaware River. There's certain different properties that are on it. So
it's just informational. There's an action bias. Is that right?
It didn't sound like it. It was just an information.
It's Sean Tiffany of the Tiffany Cattle Company is listed on here. A lot of times it's feedlots.
Okay.
I think that's what we had before was
Feedlots, the city waste,
Waste plants, things like that.
I'm seeing the actual one for service.
Those will list several in there.
City of Racine.
See. I guess it don't matter that.
Is this election systems and software? Should that be under the county attorney?
You're interested in.
Is it under the county attorney?
Uh-huh.
No, it should be.
Okay. Do you want me to highlight it or?
Yeah. Yes.
Down here.
We can get down and.
It sounds like.
So you can see them. I just put that back in there. I don't know where we store them, but. Damn.
Did they buy one? Yeah. The guys locked it up. It's college. They bought the house in the corner.
You want?
They bought that house on the corner up there. This was college in Hartwood.
Oh, did I?
That's what it is, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, we got a minute. On the 27th, of the meeting of the 27th. I'm also scheduled to. The area agency on aging wants me to participate in that bid opening of their new building. So I will probably be gone that day. And I think I'd checked with Michelle. There really wasn't anything on the schedule yet, but it's something I wouldn't have to go to. I want to make sure that, this is number one priority. If there was something that was important, the 27th of August. And it's at 11. So it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
For me to go back and forth. Now, if it would be a long meeting, I'd definitely come after it. I don't know how long it's going to take though.
Maybe next week we can kind of feel out what the following will look like and kind of make a plan.
Yeah. I kind of alerted them. I didn't guarantee them for sure I'd be there because it's on our meeting day.
Okay. You want some time for those? Or you want to go? Okay.
Probably should have, but I signed it.
We're running a little ahead of schedule. If you're good.
I'm good.
Okay, so this is an addition to the agenda. We have Joe Snyder Road and Bridge he would like to be added for PO Caterpillar 40-inch cold planer and department update.
You have that PO I gave you guys?
Yep.
It's for a skid steer PC 310 cold planer 40-inch width, 31,635 minus the trade-in from the Bobcat 24-inch planer of 7,800, and the total purchase price would be $23,835. We have the funds available through a payment on lease purchase. There was only one this year instead of two. So we have the money to cover it. This would be to help us mill and patch our roads, being we're kind of cutting back and we're trying to find a way to help fill that gap. The planer for the Bobcat, one of the big safety items that wouldn't work is that the mill head would not stop when you shut it off. You had to let it wind down and stop. And then it wouldn't shift side to side. This one here is compatible with the skid steer we have. I was just looking at approval for this purchase order.
So it's safer and it's more efficient.
Yes, and it's wider, it's bigger. Yeah.
The net cost is around 23,000.
23,835.
What, the original? Or
No, this cost. It was 31 minus the 7,800 trade-in value.
okay, I thought you said it's 22,835.
23,835. Sorry.
That's reasonable.
That's it.
Yes.
So I didn't know if we want to, I can call for a motion and then have discussion. We kind of talked about it this morning. I just don't think I'm ready yet. I appreciate the thought process. I think that if we're using the Bobcat one and it's working right now, I think I'm just getting right through that budget process of knowing what things are, where we're at. I just would rather wait and see how the base one does, which we said by next spring we'll know. And this would definitely be on that list of like next steps. So right. Do you want to have discussion about, you look like you wanted to have discussion, so I just thought I would start.
I hate to hold back progress. If the base one was the deciding factor, I mean, if the base one wouldn't work out, we're going to do other solutions and we would still need to grind these spots out.
Correct.
So that's where I'm at. I mean, it's not necessarily that it's all contingent upon the success of the base one product. If
I
we
guess
can
that's
do
the email
and
was
then,
focused
right,
around the base one. So
yeah. Everybody will know we have some base one left over that we can use in this process. And base one, basically is a hardener that goes in and helps you build base to your road. We've mixed it in on Cheyenne Road. I keep getting the Deer Creek or Deer Trail. I always say it wrong. Deer Creek.
Deer Creek, there, deer right
Yeah,
down there.
yeah. And then 302nd off of K7. And it seems to be setting up very well, but we have it left over. We have a lot of work to do on Ottawa and Osborne and Osage until we get that way to get those roads fixed, which we have that in a plan to try to do a mile a year after this first set of 2 miles. And I've got to find a way to try to fill those holes and get it to work. And if the base one won't work, then we'll just have to put asphalt in there. But the mill head will be used. We rented one because we couldn't get the one we have now to work. We used it on the bridge at Independence Creek, and we milled away from the bridge to smooth the transition. So it has some other
Do you
uses.
happen to know how much you rented it for? So you rented one of these?
Yes, because we couldn't get the other one to work. I would have to look it up, but
I'd
it
be
might have
curious
been
to-
$400 a day. I think. I mean, it's been I've slept.
Well, I'm in support of this because I think regardless of base one or asphalt, I mean, the bonus to me is to try the base one because we already paid for that. And we might as well find out how it works on area patch as well.
Right.
And I think another thing is if the current one that we're attempting to use, the safety issue of not being able to break that, if something happened and there was a cable or something that got attached to that and it was pulling someone in, there's no way you could break that thing from spinning. Whenever you're, I hate to use the word half-assed, when you or have something that's only working partially, I think that's a big safety issue. That concerns me on that.
Yes,
So.
another question.
Yes.
So speaking of those spots out on Ottawa and Osborne, so with the big chunks, what we had been doing was cleaning them out and Durapatching.
Right, but which is not helping our base.
Mhm.
All we're doing is just trying to fill the hole. So with this, we will grind it in place with the mill.
Mhm.
And then if we need more millings, we will bring more in, and then we're going to mix the water in the base one with it, mill it again, and then we will roll it in place. And we're hoping that it will harden up and solve that. We can get down 4 to 6 inches with this mill, is what our intentions are.
And then that would be temporary until we mill it all and do
Yes,
it.
just trying to get us till we get to the road rehabilitation to where we can afford it. Because if you look back when we first started on Ottawa that one year,
Mhm.
I don't know, what did we spend, $200,000 or $300,000 patching?
Mhm.
Well, we just can't, and that's when we decided we can't
Right.
continue to do this because we can't afford it.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to look for more of an affordable way that I can send 3 guys out there and we can try to get it stopped. We have to do something anyhow.
And we can use it on other roads. I mean,
Yeah, we
have
use
a
it
road-
when we cut our tubes. We use it to cut the asphalt. We just we back up, get a straight line, and we mill through that so that we don't end up with a perfect line, but it's a lot better than if you just go in and dig and then you end up 6 foot wider than what you wanted to do.
We just approved what was the attachment, and we talked about is it compatible with, or maybe it was the machine. We just talked.
You
about
asked
this.
me about in
Is
the
it-
last meeting about it being compatible, and in the documents I have there, it shows that it is compatible with this machine.
Okay, and then your plan is just trade in the current
Right.
one,
Yes,
and you're able to get 7,800.
yes.
The other thing I'm thinking too is if you're renting $400 a day, if you actually own this and you have a day you can fit in, hey, 3 guys go out there and spend half a day, you got it handy. You got a
Right.
way to rent a piece of equipment,
Well,
get it here, get it out.
And then I looked at the used too, and these are something that this type of equipment, buying used is not necessarily the way to go because you don't know how they've been treated before, and if they're in a rental fleet, I think the used one was 19,000. Where if we can buy this one, it has a 24-month warranty, and we know how it's been treated.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want to necessarily give you as much for your used one as you would like if it was a tractor or another, because of the type of use it has.
So the one that we rented, is it just like this?
Yes.
And we used our machine?
Yes.
And it handled it?
Yes.
It all, okay,
Yes.
that what, not just they tell you it's compatible, you
Right.
actually rented
We
one like
rented it
and
and
it
we,
was
yes, it
compatible.
was.
Okay.
And that's why
How
I
long-
went through and made sure that, you know, the documents say.
How long is a typical mill as far as a project like that, or like Independence Creek or those spots out?
So like Independence Creek took us 2 hours and we paid for it. So then we went down to a spot on Ottawa Road and we milled some of that and they put some gravel and stuff in there. We didn't have the base one at that time. That was done before the base one. So what we would do is we would go to Ottawa and go to the worst hole and get in there and try to get it done and go to the next one. And if we can do it before harvest and we can close a section of that road, we could do like 3 or 4 of them at a time and then roll them and see what happens.
I've got a question on that. You go in there and you roll that base one into there. Now I know on Cheyenne, we're waiting for that to dry before we're putting a top on it. So if you do these patches,
It will still dry. And if we're using basically nothing but asphalt, it comes up looking like asphalt and not as much dirt as we did on that gravel road that had been mixed into it. But it will, the big thing would be is if you get a big rain on it right after you do it. Because these roads out here, there's just a few spots, you know, that really throw a little bit of tracking. And after today, if we can before the end of the week, we're going to go out and try to reshape those and get them where we want them.
Okay. I was just wondering if, you know, if that needed to be exposed to dry before you actually put a top on it, you know, which would be harder to do with a patch because you're going to be leaving these spots.
What I'm hoping, it's like what we have scheduled for next year, the bad spots on 326 as we go and we mill them out and we put that in there. I talked to a guy from Warrensburg, Missouri, and he likes it better if you let it sit through the winter before you chip and seal over it. You know, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and I'm hoping that we can get that done and get those spots done, and then by spring we'll know what it looks like, or if it lets it sit for a couple months. If you've been out on those roads, they're hard. They're hard. So just looking at a way to try to use the product we have and get the end result we would like to have. Like I said, if it doesn't, we'll go get some asphalt. We'll do 6 or 7 holes and measure up what we need and spray oil in it, and we'll dump asphalt in there and roll it, and hopefully it'll last until you know.
Do you have to rent a roller or do you?
We have a roller.
Because I know the other one, we rented one just because it was bigger maybe or something.
It was a big flat roller.
Oh.
Plus, we also used one of our rubber tired rollers after that.
Okay.
So we used them
had
both.
that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got 2 of those. We use those for chip and seal.
Oh, that's what I thought. So, okay.
And the base one guy liked the rubber tire roller, and a lot of other people like the smooth one. So we did both. But it's just, and I understand. I'm just trying to come up with a way to.
No, I get it. I'm just in my head, it's that analysis and calculation of what makes sense rent versus buy. Because if we did Independence Creek in 2 hours, if it's 80 days, right? 80 days it pays for itself when you divide it out. So it's like, and we're talking about one road, Ottawa, Osborne for the short term. So if we mill down and it works, we hope not to have to do it until we get there, right?
That's what we're hoping for. If we got 6 months or a year out of it, it'd be a lot better than what we're getting right now. I think you understand that, because I'm just on Casey because she travels that road probably more than anybody else. And then that south part of Osage is starting to do the same thing. So
I'm just weighing in my brain, like
renting
and knocking those spots out for.
But then we also are going to go to where we're going to work next year on our 7 or 10 miles. I can't remember which it was. And we'll go in there and we'll patch all those bad spots. And if we have one come up on a road, then maybe we'll go out that we've already done. We'll go out and we'll patch it and move on down the line. Because the asphalt patching, I mean, where it works, it's really good, but it's expensive too.
Mhm.
I mean, it is.
Does that work better to keep the traffic off of it? These patches you're gonna do like for a few hours or?
Well,
I mean, it'll dry
so
out some.
it'll dry out some, yeah. I mean, like if you're doing asphalt patches, you've got to wait till the asphalt cools before you cut traffic loose on it. Because if you don't,
With the space oil milling. I mean,
well, we're gonna find out.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'm just saying there's the harvest coming up, and if you those big trucks, those heavy trucks, you might
Right.
want to let it dry as much as you can,
right.
but then you got to worry about traffic control.
So that's the reasoning. And it's up to you guys, whatever you like to do.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay. So I'd look for a motion to approve the purchase order as presented by our road and bridge superintendent. For a skid steer PC 310 cold planer, 40-inch width, for $31,635. And then trading in a Bobcat 24 PLA, to recoup $7,800. So the purchase order in the amount of $23,835. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Aye. I'm just not there yet, but
No, that's
appreciate
fine.
the
And I
conversation.
appreciate your view on it too. I mean, it's.
Yeah, it's just
No, I understand.
weighing. And also the thought for me is like, okay, we didn't make a lease payment, so we have it. So it's not going anywhere. We can do this. It's just, I don't know that my timing right now feels.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I respect you guys' decisions, how you feel. Do we need to bring up the other thing right now?
Yeah, we have I signed it, and it probably should have been signed by him, but, purchase order for the, Bridge 290 project. We reached agreement that we're purchasing the right of way for $4,760, which was our original offer. That's at a price of $7,000 per acre for 0.68 acres, I believe, mathematically. I went ahead and signed it, but that's payable to Nielsen Family Farm LLC. So.
That's. The name is different than what,
Yeah.
who we've been dealing with.
Well, no, yes, it is, but it's Larry Prager is the member of I think the family name was Nielsen.
Okay, I just hadn't heard that name in conjunction with this project, so.
All right, I would look for a motion to approve the purchase order as presented by our county councilor to Nielsen Family Farms for purchase of right of way in the amount of $4,760. Do I have a motion to approve?
If some.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0.
And we do have a line item that we budget for that. But no, Road and Bridge does.
I put
For right of way.
And he put it in there.
Okay.
And then, before we can move forward with anything else, is there anything you need to do?
Well, I've notified their attorney of this, and we need to get that checked.
Okay,
And then they'll get us they'll get us the executed bond.
Okay.
And so as far as your end, then the next thing will be to get those studies done.
yes, that's what the archaeological studies are waiting for this. And as soon as that gets done, then we can start moving this project along quite a bit. Hopefully a lot faster.
Michelle thought, I should say, we might even have that checked this week. Right?
This one, I don't believe so. This will probably be next Wednesday.
Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions, or we're chip and seal? We're hitting that hard. The rain kind of slowed us down this morning. We're only going to get 2 trucks. And we're on Bourbon Road right now. And then we'll do Bourbon Road, and then we'll come back into Effingham on 254th Decatur, 262nd. And once we get those done and we get the other roads shaped up, then we'll do Cheyenne and then the 2 little spots. And then hopefully we're done with that. Should be.
How many total
And then-
miles? Remember? That's right. Go ahead.
19 point something, I think. There's 7 miles going to Bourbon. Bourbon is 6. So that's 13, and 3 is 10, and 4 is 14. And
Split piece out here.
yeah, and then we did going into Bungie too on 274th. I think it was right at 19.
Yeah.
I think, to be quite
That's
honest.
good. That's good.
But other than that, we're continuing to work on trying to get our roads taken care of.
It's striping to be done.
Yeah, I was gonna say the striping will be.
As soon as we get done, then I will call him, and when they're in the area, usually they do a bunch for Leavenworth County, and then they fit us right in with that.
One other thing I thought of was County Lake. There was a report of trash overflowing in the cans and the fireplace and blowing everywhere. So I don't know. I haven't been out there, so I just wanted to let you know.
Nobody had said we were out. I was out there not too long ago. I mean, well, 10 days ago, I guess. I drove out and drove around it because I told them we had to blade the backside of it. But no, we'll check that out.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
One more reminder, you told me this morning, when the surveys this week.
He sent me an email saying the middle of this week.
Okay. And then once the survey's done, then we can finalize with O'Keefe Wilson.
Yes.
That was a question I got at the fair
Yeah.
too. And I just wanted to make sure that I could give her a timeline of what that looked like. So
Well,
it surveys this week.
I got a hold of him again Friday. I think it was Thursday or Friday. And he told me we could check with him, and he sent back an email, said midweek this week.
Okay.
So that's hopefully that's right.
All right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Still some more time. See how that's fine. We just want to take a break. We have time for a break. Just we don't have quite the final results yet. I should have asked him if he heard of anything about power lines or wind energy coming through, because I haven't. Would Joe be the first one to know that, or who would?
Well, usually,
Right.
if something's gonna come through, they go to Register of Deeds and they can file easements or anything like that. If there was gonna be.
So she would be the first person to tell us, like, hey, if you hear something, let us know, kind of deal.
Yeah, that would be my guess, because I know that we've asked in the past and there was nothing. Of course, it depends on how they register something, you know, if it's, you know, a business name that you wouldn't recognize as being a wind. But if it's NextEra, oh yeah,
Right.
you know, that's pretty well out there.
We really don't have ARPA funds update about Mark. I mean, we're any unfinished business that we have today. I don't think we have really anything. We finished the budget last time.
It's Jody.
Which was huge.
You got it, Jody. Okay.
Do we?
No, it's okay. I have a question for Phil.
Okay.
But and I was just thinking there's a lot of policies we talked about a year ago about this policies to update. We've done a few. We've got the employee manual done, but what about other policies that were pulled out of the employee manual that we need to go back over or whatever? I just don't know. It seemed like there were some other policies she wanted us to look at.
I thought there was going to be a round two of like department head elected official policies, right? Like that was the general employee, but yeah, I'm not sure.
So ask if there's some other ones or not.
County councilor update?
I received an invoice this week for County Councilors Association membership dues. Those are $200. They're based on the county size, and that's appropriate. amount. We've been a member every year since before I was here. I would suggest re-upping.
Okay, look for a motion to approve the purchase order as presented by our county counselor for the County Counselor Association of Kansas membership use, CCA Day.
Yes.
Okay, in the amount of $200. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0.
That's all I have.
I've not been made aware of any need for executive session this week.
That's good. I like
Yeah. Do I have a motion to approve this week's expenses?
Some,
Say,
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. And we'll just have some done. Oh, I don't know that you guys. So 262 and 59, that project. One of my constituents and I were meeting with KDOT and UP, and we got a hold of them, and UP has this application process. And they sent it to me, and I wasn't comfortable filling out the application without talking to you guys. So my constituent went ahead and filled it out, which by the drop-down menu, there wasn't really anything for county official drop-down, but there was one for landowner. So so that's kind of working towards seeing if that temporary crossing to the north can be put in. So just to give you guys up to speed, he sent that in, and then they're still working with my folks on the south.
this is totally KDOT project. So this is not county involved at all, right?
The only involvement, yeah, was my constituent asking me to kind of get the heads together to talk about a temporary crossing. So, but again, I just thought I would tell you if you care or not, but.
Are you going to be going to the KAC meeting that's in, is that December? That's when that is?
Their annual conference.
Yeah, I'm not going to the date. But
Put on the last call, so we might have to see if they have that then.
Okay.
did we have to approve any of this, the culverts? Just,
No, they were going to put it out to bid. That's
it?
just their estimated,
Okay.
the Schwab Eaton's estimate, kind of as a budget
Yeah,
placeholder.
so we're just going to go out to bid then.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that right there. They're saying linear feet. That they're saying here, so it's that size, you need.
Yes.
Linear feet, so, okay. This is the total, they cut where they need, I guess.
Well, then it'd be like, oh, that's quantity. So much per foot.
Yeah, so it's be that much per foot, so that's the.
22 times 70 would be 1540. Correct?
Yeah, it would be, you'd be right. Yeah, because 10 would be 700 times 6, 1400, there's two more, so yeah.
And then each of these in per unit, per.
Got it, okay, and it was a CY.
Cubic yard.
I just thought I had to think about it. A lot of abbreviations by
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, when you don't read that stuff very often, it takes a while to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Rereading Jody's.
Mhm.
The executive session, discuss any of that, or?
You discuss what?
Not you, but just.
Oh, did it go to?
You got it.
Um,
Mhm.
I don't show that it went to you, it should have went to me and Michelle. That doesn't mean it didn't, it wasn't, that it went to you. I haven't read it yet, so,
No.
but I think probably not today.
Okay. Should we delete that?
No, I mean, I think it's even a public document.
Hmm.
It's interesting to me how some cases get put, I mean, that might not have been a watershed case.
No.
But somehow some cases get cited and
I'll tell you more about that case off camera.
sixteen days after it was mailed. Right, yeah. I'm assuming it was mailed. No, no. Who? Okay. Yeah, but 17th is Saturday.
Oh,
We have to next day. Right.
election night, waiting for votes. Right, but it was something else, the write-ins. Funny.
Oh, I didn't look at them.
Caught my attention because this township trustee is very good. It's interesting.
Oh, you got nominated.
Hmm?
You got written in as a township trustee.
Really?
Yeah,
Page you on.
Republican page 2. Hmm. Hmm. Like, so on the write-ins or the write-in affidavits, like you
They
would
don't
only,
need them on the township.
yeah, but I'm saying like they would want to tell people, right? Because like, how do you even know
Yeah,
who to write in without knowing?
Well-
Like, it's if you wanted it, like you'd need to tell people, like, hey, write me in for township. Blah,
Well,
blah,
but
blah.
make sure you tell which, because when there's two open positions, that's like, they write them in for the other one, or, and it splits the vote. Now, here's something I was just looking at, we'll have to ask Michelle. Like the write-ins of the day for township treasurer, Greg Oswald got so many votes during the day. But then down here, his name is again on the advanced. He had got 3 advanced. Where is that reconciled? The 3 advanced with the. Where was it? Someone. There he is. I was just asking him,
There's
just looking at this.
was a total at the end in there.
Mhm.
Total for column.
Yeah, but he had.
Who's that?
Greg got 12 or 11 votes the day of for Capioma treasurer. But then there was 3 advanced that also went to him. Where does that get reconciled? So he would have should have been 14 total. Where is it?
I only, the other 3 were advanced. They would have been from Capioma as well.
Okay.
But they
Yeah,
were
I
just
mean,
earlier.
But the total, of it could change the total over here on the right if it reconciled.
If we would add them together,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's good. I was just.
And when I talked to him, I did tell him that, that's what that we had a total of 14.
Not that it made any difference here. I was just wondering about on the processes, but looking at it.
Everybody's some matter treasurer for townships and for trustees. All right.
A lot of write-ins, but not near as many as we could have.
Oh, yeah.
So I do have the official. If you guys want to go ahead and, I don't know, Casey, if you want to just, I don't know how you want me to, this will be on our Facebook page after it's approved. But we did add the votes that we approved to add. So
you just want to summarize the sheet with with the winning.
So on the Democratic side, unfortunately, there just wasn't a lot of activity. I was not able to get a precinct committee man or woman due to the fact that we needed at least 5 write-in votes. We didn't have 5 write-in votes from any of the.
That's the minimum 5.
Yes, for precinct committee people.
Yeah.
So
they just will go without having them?
No, what can happen is the precinct chair for the Democratics will come in, and I have a form to where they appoint somebody. Okay. They do their own appointments. So he can appoint whoever he needs for those precincts. Township treasurer, I had Dwayne Coder and William Falk that will go on to the general ballot. On the township trustee, it looks like I got some write-ins for Gary Service, which totaled the 3 I needed for township trustees. However, he's already going to be on the ballot due to the Republican side. So there was no write-ins for any of the other county or state offices. The U.S. House of Representatives, 2nd Districts, we had a winner of Nancy Boyda from Atchison County with 357 versus Matt Kleinman at 180. So that's the Democratic side. On the Republican side, For the U.S. House of Representatives, we had Derek Schmidt with 1143, which was quite a bit more than all of the other votes. State Senate First District, we had John Epley at 1396, and then Craig Bowser was our second place for 518. State Representative 63rd District, Alan Rivas at 1824. County Commission Second District, Eric Knoll at 786. County Commission Third District, Casey Quinn at 636. County Clerk, Michelle Phillips at 1872. County Attorney, Sherry L. Becker at 1605. County Treasurer, Connie Ellerman at 1857. Register of Deeds, Blair Burton, 1801. And we had the Sheriff, Jack Laurie at 1,095 votes, and Adam R. Potts at 1,030. And then as far as the trustees, we have Dolores Service, who will be Mount Pleasant at 129, Timothy D. Bell at 169 for Shannon Township Trustee, and Gary Service for Walnut Township Trustee at 66. And then we do have a few others. Colin Sheely for Center, he had 5 votes. And then Greg Oswald was the write-in winner for Capioma Township. And then Ryan Hermrich with Lancaster Township due to write-ins.
Ben Hawk was up there too.
Ben Hawk, thank you.
But he has 6. Does that qualify?
Who's that?
Does Damon Bowen with 6?
No, because he was in Capioma.
Okay.
So he's second place.
Okay, got it.
Mhm. Yes, and you only basically, when it comes to primary, you only deal with the top number.
Okay,
The highest.
regardless
You can't-
if it's
you
over
can't
5.
drop
you
down.
Okay,
Right.
got it.
Yes. I think that's all that I had.
And they
Yes,
need
he's-
5.
3 for township,
Oh, 3.
but you take the top number of each township.
I had Zach Langley and Mike Furman with 3.
But then Ryan Hermrich got 19. So he probably would have.
Oh, maybe that, yeah, I wasn't looking to see whether they were displaced.
Yeah, they'd be columns like that, so.
I have Ben Hoff for Benton Township, Colin Sheely for Center Township, Scott Lowe for Grasshopper Township, Greg Oswald for Capioma Township, Ryan Hermrich for Lancaster Township, Dolores Service for Mount Pleasant Township, Timothy D. Bell for Shannon Township, and Gary Service for Walnut. Those are the trustees, the highest number vote getters that will go on to the Republican side of the for the trustee. And then for the treasurers, Clifford Oswald of Benton Township, Adam Novinsky of Center Township, Ryan Swinson for Grasshopper Township, Greg Oswald again for Capioma Township. So he, like I said, will have to decide. Kathy Swigert for Mount Pleasant Township, Todd Hankey for Shannon Township, and Janet Umfenauer for Walnut Township.
What's the deadline for him to make a decision?
10 days. And I will get decisions from him, and all of the precinct committee people will get a certification or a certification of election. And then everyone else will get a certification of nomination, basically stating that they were nominated by the party.
These 10 days starts from today.
From the canvas, I believe.
Yeah.
So the precinct committee people for the Republicans were fairly full, but they needed at least 5. So with the rest of the precinct committee people, there was nobody else who received the 5 other than who was already on the ballot.
You're in the team.
Correct. And same thing basically with the committee women There was nobody else who received more than the 5 needed, other than those who were on the ballot previously. You guys have any questions? We're only going to have one township on the on each of the ballots, but on the township treasurer, we will have 2 under the Benton, 1 Republican and 1 Democrat, and then we'll have 2 for Shannon Township, 1 on the Democratic side, 1 on the Republican side.
Great.
We just need a motion as presented.
Yes, and then I'll need signatures on both of these pages. One for each.
Okay, so I would look for a motion to certify the official results of our Atchison County August 6, 2024 primary election as presented by our county clerk. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0.
Anybody wants to be an election worker, tell them come see me.
Did you get quite a few sign up? Or
We did. We did actually. We had quite a few that went through the polling locations and asked what they needed to do to sign up. And so we had applications right there. So some of them signed up, some of them took the applications. So hopefully we'll have a full house of judges that we need for the general.
And then what's your time frame to correct like the Huron Lancaster thing and those? That's the project you have to do after all these elections this year, or
that will, yes. Before, well, we have the city elections next year, so it won't really affect any of those.
Great.
So, but yes.
So next year's the year to fix all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I figured during an election cycle, it's probably not
the best to be
right?
working on it. We have to stop, all of our registrations and such, but we can still do editing if we need to.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be a major thing because we can do a mass change on it. We just have to go back and verify everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have anything else? We have an hour and 12 minutes. I'm just adjourn into workshops sitting here if somebody comes in, or
sure.
Okay. Is that all right? Other than just like here.
That would give me an opportunity to talk to Jody and Michelle to see if we needed to have an executive session.
Okay, so should we recess then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be good.
Yeah, okay.
So I would look for a motion to recess into workshop until we find out if we need an executive session. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Okay, we are back in open session with the need of an executive session, attorney-client, 20 minutes.
Okay. I will move the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 12:22 for consultation with an attorney for the public body, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship as allowed by KSA 75-4319B2, and that the purpose of the closed session is to protect the confidentiality of the discussion, and that the board come out of executive session in 20 minutes in the commission room of the courthouse basement. And those present will be the three commissioners, HR, county clerk, and county councilor.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. We are back in open session. Is there any public comment?
Just want to make sure you have paid twice.
Seeing none. We have 16 more minutes here for the public, but I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0.
Yeah. That's the question.
We are adjourned.
Yep.
Yeah, but we'll be here till 1.